What's up, everybody? I'm Abatage, and welcome to this additional special Godus episode where we're going to name some towns. It's the naming episode. And that's pretty much all we're going to do in this one. So let's do it. First town. What are we going to call the first town? Now, I kind of have thought about what I would name things, and I'm not very good at naming things as much as I enjoy naming them. Is that farmers popping out? Yeah, it must be, hey. That noise is weird. But, you know what I was doing the other day? I was watching Stand By Me. If you've never seen that film, go watch it. It's flippin' brilliant. It's one that I remember from my childhood, and... it's the reason I'm going to call this town Corey Feldman. If I can type it correctly. There we go. Corey Feldman. I cracked myself up. And then this one, let's call this one River Phoenix. I don't know if that's how you spell the actual Phoenix, but that's what I'm calling it. River Phoenix. Oh yeah. We got lots of towns to go, so don't worry. They're not all going to be Stand By Me characters. Or actors, I guess. This one will be. This is Jerry O'Connell. Remember Jerry O'Connell? He was in Stand By Me, but he was also... I guess maybe he's best known for Sliders. That was a good TV show. Well, it was when I was a kid. I watched it again later on. It was kind of crap, but hey. If it's good as a kid, that's all you need, really. And who could forget that wonderful Gordy LeChance in Stand By Me, good old Will Wheaton. Yep, screw his Star Trek career. I did watch him in Star Trek, but Stand By Me, Will Wheaton, rock and roll. And not necessarily the biggest character in Stand By Me, but definitely one of the most memorable, or one of my favourite actors. Maybe, I guess. Whatever, it's John Cusack. So the town of John Cusack is a bit of a farming village, which is a little bit appropriate, I guess, because I don't know why. Good old John Cusack, though. We love a bit of John Cusack. He was in High Fidelity, so that's all that matters. You know who else was in High Fidelity? Jack Black. Oh, yeah. And then over here, this town up on the hill, I'm kind of done with Stand By Me now. I know it's only been like 2 minutes, but I'm over it. I really just wanted to get Corey Feldman in there, to be honest. But this one, I'm going to step outside a little and talking about people who I kind of dig, I guess, are good names. Because I like naming things after some crazy characters who aren't necessarily people I really love, but or look up to, or any of that kind of shit. They're just people who I find interesting and who, you know, I pay attention to. Or fucking legends like Mr. John Carmack, who, if you know John Carmack, he's a nutbar. In the best possible way. He's like super nerd of the century, responsible for id Software along with... Oh, should I do it? No, I'm not going to do Romero. Along with Romero and some other people. And he's got his own space program. I mean, what a dude. How can you not love that? But let's not make it too male-centric. Let's put in Winona Ryder. People give me shit about how much I like Winona Ryder, but Winona Ryder's fucking cool. She's done some great movies. Same with, and we're going to talk about the same movie, Keanu Reeves. What a fucking legend. Oh, this feels good. But old Keanu and Winona were in, what's that film? A Scanner Darkly. What a fantastic film that was. Also, a lot of other people that I really like in there, like, oh man, I always forget his name though. The dude from White Men Can't Jump. You know the guy. the white guy in White Man Can't Jump. He's awesome. But because it's a W name, it makes me think of the fantastic all-time rapper Wesley Willis. And old Wesley Willis does some of the most amazing raps you have ever heard. Definitely go check him out. He's a hilarious bastard, and you should all know who the hell he is, because he's Wesley Willis, and Wesley Willis is fucking cool. So down here we've got a bit of, this looks a bit arid, it looks a bit worn. Maybe in this one we can put a bit of arid and worn. This one has to be a tribute to the late but the great Ronnie James Dio. Yep, Ronnie James Dio. If you don't know who he is, go look up Dio. He passed away recently in the last few years, I think. But what a legend! What a dude! What a cool bastard! And what an all-round great guy. So he gets to be immortalized in a Godus settlement, surrounded by farms. And yeah. Who else have we got? We haven't got enough women. We've got Winona Ryder, and she's not everything in the world. Who's some other good women? Let's do another controversial pick. This town will be the town of Courtney Love. Yep, I'm an old grunger from back in the day. I love grunge music and punk music and all that sort of thing. And Hole and Courtney Love and Nirvana and Kurt Cobain and all that kind of stuff are some of my all-time favourite bands, and I will never get sick of them at all. So as much as Courtney Love cops a lot of flack in the media, and she can be a bit of an outspoken person who says things that no one really agrees with or endorses, I got a lot of time for Courtney Love because she's fucking cool and she don't take no shit from nobody. If you want to see something really cool and you haven't seen it before, go search on YouTube for, watch the rest of this video, but then in that search box up the top there, type in Courtney Love and Madonna MTV interview. It's freaking awesome. But yeah, we're not going to put Madonna in because screw Madonna. Although, to her credit, in that video where Courtney Love basically derails an interview with Madonna completely, Madonna does handle herself fairly well and just kind of pisses off. She's like, you know what? I'm out of here. See you later. Bye. Mad love. Catch you around. Which is always fun. So who else can we have in this town? Or who else can we name a town after, I guess, is the point. Well, we've got old Wesley here. We've got Ronnie James. We've got Keanu Reeves. We've done a bit of Corey Feldman and Will Wheaton and John Carmack, and who else did we do? John Cusack. Well, let's do a bit of... I haven't thought this through beforehand, by the way, so it might be a bit of sitting around thinking and that sort of thing. But you know who else I love as a actress? Or I guess politically correct term is just actor for everyone, or that sort of thing. But whatever. How can you go past a bit of the old Poison Ivy, a bit of Gattaca, and a bit of Uma Thurman? Thurman. Kill Bill, Gattaca, Batman, whichever Batman it was that she was in. She's freaking awesome. I got a lot of time for Uma Thurman as well. She's one of my favourite actresses, and yeah, I'll watch anything that she's in. Especially Gattaca, because little known fact, Gattaca is actually one of my favourite all-time films. And again, it's a little bit of an odd choice, I guess, because a lot of people would disagree with me and do disagree with me. But at the end of the day, it's just a great movie. Like, what do you want me to say? And while we're talking connections, like we were before, Uma Thurman was in Gattaca with someone who was also in Reality Bites with Winona. And that person is another of my favourites. It's good old Ethan Hawke. Haven't seen Ethan Hawke do much for a while, but what a dude. What a great guy. I mean, he's pretty cool. And you got, you know, those sorts of films, I love. Fucking Reality Bites is awesome, and it kind of reminds me of those 80s/90s teen movies which we all know and love, but we pretend we don't really have never seen them and that sort of thing because they are kind of shit. But you know who was cool in those movies? Well, the biggest badass of them all, who was more of a... What's the dude? Joel Schumacher? Or, no, that's the wrong one. You know the guy I mean. Judd Nelson. Forget my Joel Schumacher reference. That I was stuck on bad Batman movies. But Judd Nelson, whoa, that dude, he was harsh. So over here on the old plateau, should we put one in there? Well, we're going to rename them all because that's the whole point of this episode, because let's face it, I've got nothing else to do. And I only remembered that I could rename towns just the last episode, so I'm going to rename them right now, as we have been doing. So we've got old Uma over there. Let's get down here and, one of my all-time heroes from the music world, from the spoken world, and I've seen him on tour about 3 or 4 times so far, Mr. Henry Rollins. What a fucking dude. What a legend. I've read a few of his books as well and that sort of thing, and oh my god, this guy has some very, very interesting stories to tell. I mean, yeah. Dude who was in a freaking awesome hardcore punk band from the 80s and carried it over to now and goes around the world and finds shit out and comes back and tells you all about it and makes it amusing and funny, but he's also very socially conscious. Conscious? Yeah, that'll do. Whatever, I'm not going to talk about him too much. You know him if you know him. Henry Rollins. There he is. Up on the plateau here, kind of like Christ the Redeemer, which is fairly appropriate. And in the same vein as Rollins in my book, Mr. Bill Hicks. If you don't know Bill Hicks, once again, watch the end of this video and then go up to that search bar up the top there. Just type in Bill Hicks, you'll find some stuff. What a legend. He's a comedian, but also a very political and social kind of commentator in his comedy. And yeah, he's also passed away a while ago, a little bit too young. He was making jokes about the George Bush of like early 90s, late 80s that were appropriate to the George Bush of the 2000s. And it's really creepy watching some of his stuff, actually, because he's talking back then, like, 20 years ago, he's talking about stuff that is still applicable to the current George Bush. Or, he's not there anymore, but the most recent George Bush, I guess. George Bush Jr. or whatever. He's very funny, and he's rank and out there, but, one of my favourite dudes in the world who has, worked. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not making any sense, am I? Just talking complete gibberish. But hey, we're trying to think of names here, and I'm not very good at thinking of names, so that's why they're all crappy bloody celebrities. Anyway, to move along, what would be a better tribute than to go from Courtney Love over to the creator of worlds, the god of gods, the man himself. Let's pop him in here. Mr. Peter Molyneux. Molyneux? Yeah, cool. I always wonder if I can spell that correctly. But Mr. Peter Molyneux is now immortalized in our world. The creator of creators, the god amongst men, the guy who is the driving force behind this game, amongst other people. Let's never forget that there's a whole team of people working on this. It's not just a Peter Molyneux game. It might be his concept, it might be his direction, but there are more people working on it. But the thing I really love about Peter Molyneux games and him, or his public persona, I guess, because I don't know the guy, and I don't presume to know the guy, but the thing I like about his public persona, even though he cops a lot of flack for it, is his ability to come up with cool ideas, and sure, they may never eventuate, but at least he thinks of them and he gives them a go. And I think that's worth a lot in this day and age, is having people who are creative and out there, and they're the ones who they're going to come up with some bonkers ideas that'll never work. But I think you need the bonkers idea to get closer to something that's unique and original. And yeah, maybe it won't be that far out, crazy idea that he was talking about with like when Fable came out, how it was this living, breathing world and you'd see trees grow and all this kind of thing. And a lot of features and stuff that never really eventuated, but you got to give him props for basically going, yeah, we're going to try and do this. And in a lot of cases, which is why he cops a lot of flack, it hasn't worked, but I prefer the notion that he's given it a go more than anything. So, Peter Molyneux, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. The man who maybe this is modelled off. No, of course it's not. But, yeah, what a guy. What a dude. How can you go wrong? Jack Black. Uma Thurman. Oh, no. I keep thinking of folks that I'd use, but maybe not. Wow, we could really put a settlement down here, actually. I think we could, and it would be worthwhile. We'd put one around maybe here-ish. Or there's this space that'll be wasted. We've got 122 gems. Let's pop one down somewhere. Let's pop one down. Okay, that one comes out to there. That one comes out to there. There's nothing around here. There's nothing around here. Oh, that one comes out to there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's not really... There's too much wasted space around there. We could put it around here, because that would head down that beach too. And back up this way, perhaps. Or we could put one around here somewhere, maybe? That might be good. I know there'll be a little bit of possible overlap, but maybe here. Screw it, that's where we're doing it. Might not seem like the best choice. But I'm happy with it. Okay. Moving along. More names, more settlements, that sort of thing. We got Rollins over there. No settlements here, no settlements here. That might be the last one we have to name. Uma's there. Good old Bill. Oh no, there's one here to name. There's nothing up here, is there? No. Look at that, 11 million. Rock and roll. So let's leave that one till last because that's the newest. And we've done that. We've got old Peter Molyneux. Got old Courtney over here. Bit of Dio. Old Keanu. Bit of Wesley. Winona. Ethan Hawke. And who's it going to be? Oh, I'm going to have to think about this one, folks. Yeah. See, I'm not really... As much as I've been naming all these towns after celebrities, I'm not the biggest kind of celebrity-focused guy anyway. So it's, you know, I'm not the guy who gets all fanboyish over famous people just because they're famous. Like, generally they're people who I dig what they've done, or I've got a lot out of their work. In fact, more often than not, it's work that I've gotten a lot out of. So, for this one, in fact, we might have to do... Now, see, I keep changing my mind now. Now I'm thinking about people and changing my mind and not really sure what to do. I may even have to cut this. But if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. So for this one, this is a bit of an odd one, and most people probably aren't going to understand me when I put in Angela Carter. I read a lot of books. I'm very much a reader. And Angela Carter is one of my all-time favorite authors that have ever lived and ever been and ever written anything. She's a writer who, I think she passed away in the 90s, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But she wrote from like in the 60s and stuff and right up to now, and you know, she's an American writer, I think. But her books are always they're kind of adult / modern fairy tales, and they usually have a very specific kind of theme or message or, I guess, fable involved. Like, there's one book which is it's essentially about domestic violence, but it's not heavy. It's a fairy tale where it's swans and it's a toy shop and all this kind of thing, but it's kind of heavy because of the themes. There's another which I just read recently, which is more about gender, and it's about an androgynous character or characters who have their gender reassigned forcibly and all this kind of thing. And it's really interesting stuff, but it's really surreal and abstract as well, and which just makes it more interesting. So I highly recommend going and checking out some Angela Carter, because if you love reading and if you like kind of modern takes on fairy tales and that sort of thing, but kind of heavy, not heavy as in hard to read, but heavy as in there's some weighty topics in her writing, and it's, she doesn't just shy away from saying what she thinks and freaking you out. But yeah, Angela Carter, check her out. And while we're on the theme of books, because we are, I have to come over here to the town. And do I want to? Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. No. Yeah, I know that doesn't make any sense, but it's not going to happen. What else can we do here? Maybe I could put in... Ooh, I don't know if it would fit. Let's try... If she fits, I'm putting her in. It'll be old Jeanette Turner Hospital. Oh, wicked. Jeanette Turner Hospital is another writer who I frickin' love. She's an Australian writer. She wrote a few bloody good books that I've read, to be honest. And she's really cool. She's a little bit surreal, but very modern. And very, she can get a little stream of consciousness-y, which isn't something I generally like or enjoy. Like, I'm not a fan of Virginia Woolf or, who's the other dude who did stream of consciousness stuff? Faulkner. I've read some Faulkner, I've read some Virginia Woolf, and while I can appreciate that they're really good and everything, I've fucking studied them when I was at uni doing English literature. And, I can appreciate what they're doing, and I appreciate the skill and the talent that they have for mastering that sort of stuff, but I find it very unpalatable and not very enjoyable to read, and, it's just not my thing. And that's just purely opinion-based, so, it's down to taste, not anything else. However, Jeanette Turner Hospital is a fantastic writer, who, as well as those others, but I really like her because she kind of plays with the surreal and plays with the stream of consciousness stuff and postmodernism and all that sort of thing without confusing the hell out of you and totally alienating the audience, to just a select bunch of hipsters. So, so that's why I fucking love her work. It's really good. And that's what I mean about celebrity and stuff, is kind of on a tangent here, but the celebrities I admire or the famous people who I react to and remember and feel strongly about are usually the ones whose work has influenced me or had an effect on me, or I've gotten something out of, rather than them themselves. Like, I'm not the kind of person who really reads into famous people's, you know, private lives and that sort of thing, because, to be honest, I don't give a shit. Like, you know, I don't really care what Peter Molyneux does on his day off, and, you know, I get the impression he's got a family, but I don't care if he does or not. Like, why would you? But his work is what I've interacted with, and his work is stuff that I've obviously enjoyed thoroughly. I mean, this is episode 46 of one of his games, which is, you know, 30 odd hours worth of play. So, obviously, I enjoy his stuff. And I think that's an important thing to remember. Like, people get starstruck and all that, but these are just people. Famous people are just people. I mean, you know, who cares if Keanu Reeves does something in his off time? I don't. I just dig his movies. He made some fucking good movies. I mean, the Matrix trilogy, come on. I know people like to hate on the Matrix these days, but the Matrix trilogy was freaking awesome. I remember when they came out and I went to the movies to see them and they blew my mind away. They were freaking cool. So, yeah. And Bill and Ted were great movies, especially when you're a kid. They were freaking awesome. So, you know, I don't care about the person, I just care about their work. And I think that's a good way to be, because I've met some famous people in my time, and sometimes they've been dicks, sometimes they've been cool, and other times I don't really give a shit. And more often than not, I don't give a shit, because people are people. Everyone's just a person doing a job. And at the end of the day, acting and all that kind of thing, while entertainment, I do believe is an important thing. I mean, essentially I'm an artist as well, so I think art is important in any form. But, obviously, do I really think that River Phoenix is more important and more fascinating than, say, oh, I don't know, let's say Einstein, just for the fuck of it. Or Nietzsche, or, you know, anyone who has actually changed the frickin' world for the better. And I'm not saying that entertainers don't change the world for the better, because by all means they do. They certainly make my life more enjoyable. But, you know, I find it very interesting that we get all obsessed about celebrities, at least in Western culture, I should say. I'm not sure about anything else because I'm not part of those other cultures. But at least in our Western culture, or, you know, Australian culture, I should say, people hold celebrities and sports people up above everybody else. Everybody. You could have cured cancer for all anyone cares, but they'll still talk about a cricketer more than they will, you know, the dude who cured cancer. Or like Nobel Prize winners, or, you know, people who've done amazing things for peace around the world and to feed hungry people and to solve poverty and all that kind of thing. They're the people who we should be holding up as heroes, not fucking celebrities who, you know, they're funny to name towns after because, you know, who cares? But at the end of the day, they're as much fun as this storm. But anyway, I think I've waffled on long enough now. This is going to be a bit of a longer episode, I think, and I thought it was going to be fairly short to begin with. But hey, we're rambling. And, yeah. Corey Feldman over here is getting rained on. So yeah, that's probably it from me for a while, because I don't really have anything else that I want to do with Godus until the patch comes out. And as I've talked about in previous videos as well, that could be a while. I think at the moment the patch is scheduled for around the first week or two of February this year, which is in about two weeks or so, if I get my dates right. So we might not be seeing anything from Godus till then. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the future. At some point. Yeah. Goodbye.